Gets through a double team as it clears the length of the rink. Racing for the puck, Dennis Potvin. He gets it out quickly, and they're going to try to set it up very quickly. Tonelli, poke checked away. St. Laurent moves it around the boards. And Pittsburgh very content to kill some time. 1:35 in the power play. Up and in. And down the board comes Trottier. He is stuck in the corner. Going down hard. Another check in the corner. Puck still stays alive. Trottier, and the shot is wide. Out to the point, controlled by Potvin. Potvin top of the slot. Turns, and the shot is broken up. Turned away, and there's a whistle next to the net. Ron Hogarth again is indicating he wants the gates open in the penalty box. This may be coincidentals here. Carlisle is getting shoved around and doing shoving back. We'll see who they indicate now. Penalties will be handed out. 12:59. We're going to get the detail on this when we come back. In a scoreless battle in the power play for our local affiliates. We'll pause now. You're watching Stanley Cup playoff hockey on the USA Cable Network.
Last year in the Islanders' second push to winning the Stanley Cup, the MVP of the playoffs, the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, was Butch Goring, the man who wears that old battered helmet that goes back to when he was an 11-year-old player. In 1978, he won the Masterton Trophy, and he's also won the Lady Byng Trophy. He's won many trophies and many accolades in the NHL. He'll be with my guest at the end of the first period. In addition to that, Gary Green and I will also talk about Stanley Cup playoff news.
Coincidental minors handed out to Tonelli of the Islanders, Carlisle of Pittsburgh. 2 minutes each for high sticking. Power play advantage remains in the possession of the New York Islanders. With 1:15 remaining and the penalty on Price, and Pittsburgh clears it out of the zone. 6:53 left in period one. Islanders bring it out. Morrow dumps it in. Bumped around the board, shoveled back out of the zone. Look at the stick by Gillies. He's really doing a job on Ferguson. Snow now as Ferguson blasts in. They're going to go in there. Boutet charging through a couple of people. And the puck comes loose in the corner. Tonelli picks it up. Boutet and Ferguson came in like two football players on that one.
Well, certainly Pat Boutet, a very aggressive player, and he doesn't like to really have to take second seat to anyone in the aggressive department.
30 seconds in the power play for the Islanders. They really had but one good shot opportunity. Lead comes on the right wing. Brought in down the board. Backhander turned out neatly by Dion. And St. Laurent clears it back out of the zone. 14 seconds in the power play. Potvin, who at one time this season was rumored to be on the trading block, leads the power play out of his own zone, but turns it over. And it's dumped right back by Randy Boyd. Penalty has expired. Price comes back out of the box. Teams are at equal strength, and each team has killed off the other's power play once. Penguins in their own zone. Pulled on the wing. Kehoe can't clear it out. And it's loose at the corner. Look out. From point-blank range, Dion makes the save. The shot by Anders Kallur. And Dion went down at point-blank range to stop it. 5:24 left.
Dick, I think certainly Dion is ready for this game tonight. We see him go down, make the initial save, but he got right back up on his feet quickly again and really robbed Anders Kallur, who thought he was going to be able to pick up that rebound and catch Dion down.
Great move here. Dion going down to make the play, and then at point-blank range, he got a rebound. And Dion has made at least 3 outstanding saves here in period number 1 to keep the Penguins in a scoreless tie. Islanders have outshot Pittsburgh 8-6 thus far in the game. 5:24 left to go in period number 1. In case you missed it earlier this afternoon, the Rangers beat Philadelphia 4-3 to take a 2-1 advantage in that best-of-5 semifinal. Good hit at the blue line and a whistle. Wayne Bonney got nailed.
Dick, even the poor linesmen are kind of getting abused tonight in this physical contest.
Tonelli in the penalty box. He and Carlisle went off coincidentally for high sticking. Face off outside the Pittsburgh blue line. Bob Bourne pulls it across. Picked up by Gilbert, nailed to the boards as he got it away. Penguins in their own zone, almost stolen as it's cleared the center ring. Pittsburgh breaking out, 3-on-2. They bring it up and in on the left wing. A centering pass through the crease, and it's deflected up in the crowd. As the pass came from Rod Shutt, Billy Smith successfully broke it up, and Carlisle and Tonelli are allowed out of the penalty box now as we have a stop and play with 5 minutes to go in period one. A good shot at Gord Lane. Talented defenseman for the Islanders.
Gord Lane was a former player for the Washington Capitals when I was there. Certainly a very big, strong player, and the Islanders really utilize him in aggressive situations, expect him to be a good defensive defenseman, and certainly lay on the body in front of that net and in the corners.
Islanders do a great job keeping the alley clear out in front of Billy Smith. They've gone after those big defensemen, fellas who can move bodies away. Also, they've gone after the players who will go in the corners. They're probably right now as balanced and complete a team as you could ever put together in the NHL. They've got something for everybody. They've got the big guys to go in the corner. They've got the high-scoring wingers. They've got the big defensemen and talented goal. Puck cleared to the corner. That's why they are two-time defending NHL Stanley Cup champion in search of their third. Centering pass is taken by Smith and shoveled behind. Picked up in the corner by Bourne. He pays the price. Boutet is there along with Gardner. They muscle for the puck on the boards, and here they come. The Islanders with Bob Bourne leading away. He'll bring it up, cuts to the wing. Moves in and around all the way to the corners. He's got nothing with him. And behind the goal, Goring. Goring stripped to the puck and is let out on the wing. Pulled to the point, but kept in by Gilbert. Centers it away in front. Goring stripped to the puck. Here comes Boutet. He's got a man ahead. Lead on the wing. Gardner looks for the man trailing. Moves to the circle. Muscling. Drop pass. Pulled out from behind. Islanders lead it right back out. Even though they're beat, you can see how they are well coached and drilled. They came back well. And Pittsburgh could not catch up in time to set the play. Puck cleared by the Islanders out of their own zone. It's stolen, brought up and in by McLeish. He's got that patented heavy slap shot, gloved and cleared by Smith. McLeish still has one of the better slap shots in the game. Breakaway, 2-on-1. Islanders bring it in. On the wing, down deep. Save by Dion. Great play as they brought it all the way in. And Tonelli couldn't find the open cage. Slap shot is turned aside off the stick of Bullard. And it goes in, kept in by Pittsburgh. Heavy checking on the board. Picked off on the wing. Ferguson digging for the puck on the boards. It's kept in by Pittsburgh. They just dump it along and the Islanders will clear it out. Pittsburgh right now really putting on some physical play in the forechecking area. Dion plays it off the boards. Islanders controlling the attacking zone, and it's near the goal line, but Pittsburgh again controls the puck. Good stick handling by Ferguson. Brings it up 4-on-4 and shovels it in. They'll go in after it. Tonelli behind his own goal. Puts it around the boards. Puck is controlled by the Islanders and shoveled back in the zone. Pittsburgh controlling 3-on-3. Look for the man to trail. Left wing. It's shot. This puck scrambles. Score! On the rebound, Kevin McClellan. The Islanders are going to claim that it may have been kicked in the net. They've waved off the goal. Let's go back and look at it. The shot from the left point is gloved and then misplayed by Smith. McClellan coming in. And it's difficult to see from that angle, but it appeared that when he came to a stop in a shower of snow, he may have kicked it in. The slap shot was by Rod Shutt. There it is. His stick was never down. So the call by the referee, Ron Hogarth, is a good one. And Pittsburgh has been denied the first counter in this hockey game. It's still a scoreless tie. 2:45 remaining in period number one. Loose puck to the red line, and it's ripped in by Pittsburgh all the way around as Hockey got it in. Smith almost misplayed that one. Pittsburgh now putting on some heat. They're going to put on a pretty good check in their own zone, taking the man to the board, playing for the puck in their own end. Gillies picks it up, looks for a centering pass, shot, score! From right in front, Mike McEwen. And so the Islanders, in patented New York Islanders style, after getting the break in their own end because the goal was disallowed, come right back to the other end and put it in. Let's look at it again. Gillies behind the goal, centering. McEwen, no chance for Dion as he found top shelf left. Time of the goal, 17:36. 1-0 in favor of the Islanders. And the official network of the National Hockey League is bringing you live hockey from Pittsburgh. 1-0 in favor of the Islanders. 2:24 left to go, period one. Gillies and Dwayne Sutter give an assist on the goal. And McEwen picking up his first goal here in the Stanley Cup playoffs of 1982. Pittsburgh trailing now 1-0 after a moment ago. They thought they had a 1-0 advantage. Islanders control. Gilbert brings it up. Straddles as he's poke checked away. The Islanders have to clear. They'll do it all over again. Bourne from a sharp angle, and it's wide. Out to the blue line. They keep it alive in the Pittsburgh zone. Pat Price misses Ferguson. Kept in by Gilbert. Played in the corner. Shot up the wing. Brought out by Bullard. He's poke checked off the puck. And it's offside. Offside near center rink. 1:41 left to go. 1-0 Islanders. The official network of the National Hockey League is bringing you live hockey from Pittsburgh. More after this.
I'm very handy thanks to 3-in-1 oil.
It fights rust,
Lubricates.
stops squeaks.
3-in-1 oil is so easy, even you guys can use it. I do home repairs with plastic wood. I fixed my table, molded my hutch, filled holes in my paneling. Plastic wood is so easy, even you guys can use it.
Blazers worn by our announcers are provided by Levi's Sportswear, makers of the Levi's Action Blazer, perhaps the most comfortable blazer a person can wear.
Puck is live at the Pittsburgh line. Baxter, Pat Price, he dumps it in. McLeish digging in after it, but he's going to be the second man there in the corner. Picked up by Bullard, loose puck in front. Islanders have the right man in the right place at the right time. They play position hockey. Ripped by Potvin and off the glove of Dion, but high. Pat Price in his own zone, leads it up the middle. Bullard brings it ahead. It's 3-on-4, fakes the shot and slides it in. It'll be played by Keller, and it comes all the way out to center rink. Less than a minute to go in period number one. McLeish just bats it in. Played by Potvin. Checked by Gardner as he gets it ahead on the wing. 3-on-3. Islanders whistle offside at the Pittsburgh blue line with 42 seconds remaining in period one. New York on top 1-0 on McEwen's first goal of the playoff. Assisted by Dwayne Sutter and Clark Gillies. That's the only tally thus far. Although Pittsburgh thought they had it in the net when Kevin McClellan got it behind Billy Smith in a prey of snow, but apparently, in the eyes of referee Ron Hogarth, he had kicked it in off his skate, and the goal was disallowed. There's Dwayne Sutter, who assisted on that goal. One of the many of the Sutters in the NHL, and more still coming. Matter of fact, they have a younger brother who is rumored to be first draft choice caliber. And those in the know say, among others, the Washington Capitals are interested. From the red line, the Islanders cruising in. Boutet playing his man off, and they scramble all the way to the corner so that the Penguins can bring it out. Gardner at center ice looks for a left winger, but Boutet was detained coming up. Puck is brought back out by New York. 22 seconds to go in the period. Pittsburgh now, if they hurry, can go 2-on-2. Penalty coming up against the Islanders. They had a potential breakaway, but a man tripped up at center ice. Delay penalty as Dion is out of the net. The extra attacker is on, but they give it away. Gillies gets there, and a whistle with 8 seconds to go in the period. Gillies will go off for tripping at 19:52. As he took a man out on a potential breakaway set up by Pittsburgh, Gillies sits down. 19:52 into the first period, tripping the infraction. Penguins with their second power play in the first period, and this one, unless they score in the next 8 seconds, will carry over with a hefty 1:52 remaining into the second period of play. Coming up in the intermission, Al Trotwig and Gary Green will be visiting about the first period of play and also talking to Butch Goring of the New York Islanders. So stay tuned. You'll be listening to the man voted MVP of last year's Stanley Cup championship. Puck alive at center ring. Clock counting down in the period as it's shot in. 1 second to go. There's the horn. And the first period has come to an end. The New York Islanders have a 1-0 lead at the end of one period of play, as the Pittsburgh Penguins came out and took it to the Islanders. In the face of criticism from their owner and criticism from the press, this is a different Penguins team tonight. Michel Dion was brilliant in net for the Penguins in the first period. Shots on goal, Islanders 11, Penguins 8 in period number 1. And there's the story. New York Islanders 1, Pittsburgh Penguins nothing. We'll return with our between period activities right after this. From Civic Center in Pittsburgh, prior to period number 2, looking at some great hockey tonight. The New York Islanders lead Pittsburgh 1-0 after 1 in a wild first period of play. The lone goal from McEwen to the Islanders, his third career playoff goal against the Pittsburgh Penguins at 17:36 from Gillies and Dwayne Sutter. And that has been the lone tally so far in the hockey game, as the Islanders have outshot the Penguins 11-8. in the first period of play. Let's go back and take a look at the goal by McEwen. That's 17:36, and it came just 21 seconds after Pittsburgh had had a goal waved off at the other end. It was 0-0 from behind the net. Clark Gillies does a great job setting it up as Sutter digs it out in the corner. Here's Gillies around the goal. McEwen in front, and Dion in net has no chance as he finds top shelf. And it's 1-0 in favor of the New York Islanders. We'll get a look at that again. Now Gillies coming across your screen from behind the net. Now you're looking what Dion sees. What chance does he have as McEwen wasted no time pulling the trigger. And it's 1-0 Islanders at the end of one period of play. Gillies at the very end of the period at 19:52 went off for tripping, and so the Pittsburgh Penguins will have the power play for 1 minute 52 seconds to get things underway here in period number 2. Al Arbour of the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion New York Islanders. And by the way, the Islanders, if they go all the way this year, would only be the third team in history ever to win 3 successive Stanley Cup championships. Billy Smith, who has been brilliant in this semifinal Patrick Division Stanley Cup series for the Islanders, he has been brilliant, and of course he's been outstanding all season long. One of the big success stories for the Islanders. And Dion, who was elected by the press and the fans as the team most valuable player for Pittsburgh this year. Butch Goring, whom you heard from in the first intermission with Al Trotwig, last year's MVP in the Stanley Cup. An interesting story about Goring, too, because when he was traded by the Kings to the Islanders, he really felt like he was the forgotten man, like he was being downplayed on such a talented team. And Gary Green, as you slide back in beside me, Butch Goring showed they were all wrong. He was a great player on a great team.
Well, he's certainly a guy that was a key guy for the New York Islanders when they won the Cup. Here's a guy that you don't want to get mad too often.
Clark Gillies sits in the penalty box for the Islanders, and he's the reason Pittsburgh has the man advantage as we get ready now to begin play in period number 2. Pittsburgh came out smoking in period 1. With all the controversy, their owner, Edward DeBartolo, had said that he would refund ticket money for anybody who didn't want to come tonight. He could understand their frustration after being blitzed 8-1 and 7-2 in the first 2 games of this best-of-5 semifinal series. But only 14 fans took him up on it at last count. And there's a near-packed house, a wild crowd here tonight in support of their Penguins, who trail 1-0 with the Islanders out shooting Pittsburgh 11-8 in the first period of play. We're ready now for second period action. Referee Ron Hogarth to drop the puck, and we're ready to go. Man advantage power play belongs to Pittsburgh, and the puck is cleared in by Carlisle. Islanders immediately dump it out the length of the rink, turned out by Dion. Carlisle leads it out on the wing, and it's going to be spun around with good pressure being put on right now by the Islanders in a penalty killing situation. Gary, this is a little bit more aggressiveness than you ordinarily see from the penalty killing unit.
Well, the Islanders are well known for this, though, Dick.
And it may have cost them. There's a penalty being called. Another infraction being indicated against the New York Islanders, and it comes only 33 seconds in. Potvin will go off for tripping 33 seconds into the period, and it's a two-man power play advantage.
We're watching the replay here, Dick. We see the infraction that was called. Dennis Potvin maybe just got his leg up a little bit too far there, and as a result was called for tripping.
He went in looking like it was going to be a hip check, but it turned out that he got the leg out and tripped, and so now Pittsburgh trailing 1-0 has a golden opportunity with a two-man power play advantage for 1 minute and 19 seconds. What do you think Pittsburgh is going to do now from a strategy point of view?
Well, certainly Pittsburgh Penguins really like to set the play up, and they love to use basketball picks, and they're going to try to eliminate at least one of those defensemen right here. Carlisle's apt to be the guy that's going to get the shot away.
Langevin goes all the way around with the puck. It's taken by the Islanders, Stefan Pearson, and he puts it out of the zone. So the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to have to start this two-man advantage in their own end. They can't afford to waste much time because that two-man advantage will tick down. 58 seconds remaining in that one. Centering pass comes all the way past Boutet to the point. Controlled by Hotham out at the right point. Skate to the circle, take the shot, kicked out by Smith. Boutet is there. We'll start it all over again. Remember, two-man advantage. They move it down deep. Gardner centers, but it's a knee-high pass. Picked up by Carlisle in the left circle. Centering pass, poked right back to the corner. Look out now. They almost gave it away. Boutet has it back. 30 seconds in the two-man advantage. Slap shot from the near side. Broken up. Played loosely by Pearson. He gets it back out of the zone. And that's going to make it tough to connect on the two-man advantage. Partial change of personnel for both squads now. Whoa, they give it away. Picked up by Bob Bourne. Bourne moving left, and way out of his net was Dion to make the stop. They've got Bourne out of position now. Baxter brings it up. He's poke checked off on the boards, and it's on the boards. Gardner and Bourne to dig. Boutet goes down to the corner. One-man power play advantage as Gillies is out. Left point, Price. Right point, Baxter. Into the circle, jumps his stick. And it'll be Pearson again, battling and gets it muscled out of the zone. And you're looking at the Penguins, who don't even have a good shot on goal yet in this power play advantage, and the fans are showing their lack of appreciation. Baxter on right wing. 12 seconds left in the power play. Morrow pulls it around the board near the point, kept in by Baxter. All the way around behind the net. Penalty about to expire. The Islanders now have killed off a two-man and one-man power play advantage. Teams at equal strength. From the point, shot. Oh, it's off the post on a deflection. Loose up the slot on the rebound. It's picked up and skated out by Carroll. And it's dumped in the zone. Pittsburgh clears it back out. Offside. Will face off. 17:09 left to go, second period. Islanders on top, 1-0. And for our local affiliates, we'll pause now. You're watching Stanley Cup playoff hockey on the USA Cable Network.
Friday night Major Indoor Soccer League action moves out of its usual spot for a special edition next Saturday night. It'll come your way from the Wild Checkerdome in St. Louis as the runner-up champion Steamers haul out the welcome mat for the Wings from Wichita. The scoring will be on the upswing in this one, so tune in for a special edition of Friday Night MISL Soccer next Saturday. St. Louis and Wichita, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, here on USA.
Back to live action as Smith had the puck in his own zone, cleared it out. A whistle on the play, and the faceoff will be inside the Islanders' blue line. Gary Green, if you're looking for any kind of a sign of what the Penguins are going to have to do, it's an uphill battle. You can't give away two-man advantages like that.
No, you certainly can't. And on the other hand, the Islanders really gives them that little bit more confidence than they already had. Andre St. Laurent, as we saw this, just a good acquisition by the Pittsburgh Penguins just near the end of the season, coming from the Los Angeles Kings on waivers.
Puck cleared back out of the zone. Randy Carlyle to St. Laurent, who puts it in. Oh, they ride on the board. Gord Lane taken hard to the board by Rod Schutt. Good scramble on the boards, and they tie it up for a face-off. It'll be in the Islanders' zone. The kind of thing that you look for in Stanley Cup play, particularly Brian Trottier. This was his first 50-goal season, but he's been a premier player for the Islanders for several years. You look for those guys who can go into the corner and do the muckraking in the corner. That's where you're going to find your goals, and Pittsburgh tonight has shown a willingness to go in there and battle for the puck. We'll see if it pays off before the evening is out. Carlyle moves it around, hot them up on the wing. Back into the Islanders zone, and Islanders control the puck. Shot right back out of the zone. Trottier doing the back checking. Loose center ring. Carlyle moving in the right direction. Tries to dump it in. Gets it back off Gord Lane. Centers it away to St. Laurent. The save. Rebound. Save again. And the puck frozen in the crease. Will face it off.
Dick, an excellent play by Randy Carlyle. He really saw what was happening. That's what Carlyle is so good at. So we see Carlyle in the picture. He's certainly a player that the Pittsburgh Penguins have got to have a lot out of this game, and you can bet that he's going to see a lot of ice time in tonight. Again, Carlyle had just previously fed that pass to St. Laurent. St. Laurent coming in. Billy Smith is down. He's not quite sure where the puck is, but he's going to try and cover as much of that crease as he possibly can. Here we see from another angle St. Laurent coming in, getting off a wrist shot. Billy Smith making the first initial stop, but then he kind of lost sight of it.
Face-off will be to the glove of Billy Smith. 16:03 left. We're in the second period. 1-0 Islanders. That's deflected from the point, and Smith gloves and clears. Potvin clears, but it's kept in. Penguins now playing some very aggressive hockey. They've got it on the back boards behind goal, but it's still alive. There's the whistle. Ron Hogarth says we'll face it off again.
Dick, I don't know whether I've seen a game this year that has had as much hitting in it as we've had thus far this game. We see Eddie Johnson kind of scratching his chin. He's not sure quite what to think of his Pittsburgh team right now. They came out so well in that first period. Seem to have lost a little momentum, and that two-man power play advantage is, I think, maybe is what has slowed them down for the time being.
That has to hurt. Scores of other games. Minnesota leads Chicago 3-1 in the midway point of period number 1. Minnesota fighting for its playoff life. It's the stadium in Chicago tonight. Puck is pulled to the point. The shot by Price, turned out by Smith. He gambles. Open net, played off by defense. Great play made there by Dennis Potvin as Smith was caught out of net. Trottier offside coming in. Will face off on the offside outside the Pittsburgh line. 15:32 remaining in the second period. Islanders on top 1-0. Other scores in the playoffs tonight. Late first period, Vancouver and Calgary. They're tied 1-1.